I sold a business to Bill Gates, and yet I am a failure. So who here has ever failed? Who's made a mistake? Who's lost money? Who's believed in the wrong person? Who's been betrayed? See? I mean, literally everybody. You're all failures. Let's just start right. So what I want from you tonight is I want you to commit to fail. I want you to commit to failing more often, and I want you to commit to failing faster. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I failed my way to success. That's why I call it a 13-year overnight success story. So I'm originally from Germany. And in Germany, we take, just in case you don't know this, we take everything very seriously. So in school, there's the aptitude test. The counselor says, what would you like to be? And I said, oh, a textile designer. And she says, oh, so many applicants, such few jobs. And then she says, what else do you want to be? And I said, jewelry designer. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, so many applicants, such few jobs. What else do you want to be? And I said, I know, a photographer. And she goes, too many applicants, no jobs. So I became a photographer anyway. But I realized that I was much better at the business behind of things. So it came really natural to me. So from my photography, I went on to become the photo editor at Elle magazine at 23-year-old in Germany. Not bad, huh? But then I realized that when you're in a job like that and you're very young, people will do anything for you, but I wanted to be liked for who I was, not the job I had. So I figured, why not do something that I always wanted to do and never had the courage to do? I'm going like, I know. I'm going to go to America. So I went for the year abroad that hasn't ended 25 years later. And then it begins. 13 years of just mistake after mistake. I married a great man. He had only 2 flaws. He was a pathological liar and an alcoholic. I sure know how to pick them. So I find myself fires, floods, earthquakes with a 6-month-old little beautiful Mixie in Los Angeles by myself trying to figure out how am I going to get a job. But I'm kind of unemployable in case you haven't noticed that. So I built my own business, and I became a photographer representative and a producer, and I got lucky, I thought, because people came from all over the world, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. But I got it up to about $1 million business. $1 million business is within the top 3% of all businesses in the United States. Only 3% of all businesses make it over $1 million. So I'm doing great until the day. Have you ever had that feeling like here where you go like something's not right? Anybody? Yeah? Okay, so I fired my assistant. She had a great idea for a business, which was my business just without me. Real charmer there. And I went, and because the other thing you don't know about Germans is Germans have to be right. So I sued him. Another great idea of mine. And so I'm in this lawsuit, but it's okay because now my production season is starting, and I produced for great clients, Wrangler, Levi Strauss. But then September 11th comes. In one day, I lost the remainder of my business. So I lost $500,000 in January, and in September I lose the other $500,000. And it's over. I mean, there's no recovery from there. But I have a great idea, and I'm building, and I'm building. The lawsuit settles, I walk away with nothing. So but I'm pushing because I have this idea. And I built a stock photography syndication that was working and doing celebrity homes, but I had no money. So I go to Germany to drum up some business. My father has a stroke. My father didn't have a stroke. My father had pancreatic cancer. So my father dies within 6 weeks. So I'm at the grave, and I just want you to go there with me so you know just how many bad things happen. So I had the betrayal. I was by myself with a divorce. I was raising this kid by myself. I'm in a country that's not my own. I'm losing the other half of my business in September 11th. My dad dies. It's over, right? I mean, in anybody's book, it would have been okay to be over. Not me. So I'm at the grave, the phone rings, now I'm getting a call from my office in Los Angeles. Now we've been also served a notice, so I'm now losing the house on top of everything. But what you don't know is that I wrote a business plan in the meantime, every night and over the weekends. And I wrote a letter to the President of the United States. Why not? And I get a letter from the White House. And it says, the President is delighted to hear from you. Sure he is. But what it did, it put me in touch with the Small Business Administration. And within 3 months, they helped me to underwrite my debt, freeing up my line of credit. And it took me 3 months after that moment to get to break even. And then within 15 months after that, I became the world leader in celebrity at home stories. And I sold into 97 countries all over the world. And then a Bill Gates company comes knocking and they say, tell us how you do it. And I said, hell no. If you want to know what I know, it is going to cost you. And so they said, well, what do you want? I said, I want a lot of money. And they said, okay. And just like that, in 18 months, I became from the $135,000 in debt on my worst day to my best day. Sometimes that's how close it is. The reason I tell you this story is not to tell you how great I am. The reason I tell you this story is because you have a starting point. Like when you want to go to the beach, right? And you want to take the public transportation system, the first thing you do is you figure out how to get there, right? So you look for the red dot that says you are here. And then you're going to pick the destination, Santa Monica Beach. So there's probably a couple ways to go there. You could take the bus, you could take the metro. So all you really need to know is where you are and where you want to go. And then you can map out the path. So it doesn't matter where you are today. And let me just tell you, life is not fair. It is not fair. I don't care how tough it is, but if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, that ziggy-zaggy way on how to get there, sometimes that's all you need is have that vision in your head to get there. That is what I survived on. And even today, you know, as I'm now in this other business, because clearly I cannot sit on the beach and have beverages with umbrellas on it, I'm thinking about where do I want to go, because I can tell you one thing for certain, that the plan I have just tends never to really pan out like that. It is always a completely different way. So now, you know, as I'm focused on entrepreneurship and training and helping, you know, especially women and entrepreneurs to succeed, it's the same thing today. And I'm a multimillionaire. And still I do the same thing. I have that thing. You write your story. The characters in your story are who they are. You have no influence over that. But how the story ends, that is on you. And when you get to be up here and tell that story, you are going to be fully in charge on how that story is going to be told, with the cap and with the fruit thing and, you know, with the gun thing and whatever other thing you have done. If you are in this room, you already have a right to be here with me, with everybody else. That is pretty powerful. And the judgment on your failures, that you got to just let go. Because within that darkness lies that opportunity. And you can either throw your hands up and say, circumstances defined me. Or you can say, I defined my circumstance. A much, much more powerful approach. Everything that anybody has ever began started with the same thing. One simple idea. And every idea has been diminished, has been put down, has been ridiculed, has been laughed at. People have said, you're too dumb, you're not smart enough, you can't do it, nobody wants it, who needs it, it's already been done. And still, it has been the same single idea. I mean, who would have thought that somebody could take water and put it in a bottle and sell it? What a just revolutionary idea, water in a bottle for a lot of money. And yet it worked. It's a really stupid idea. So, as you are finding your path in this crazy world that we're living in, now you know somebody who's been in that same crazy world against all odds, fighting like a lion for 13 years, with every reason to go down in flames. But I will tell you one thing. If you drown, don't drown in a puddle. Drown in the ocean. And if you go down in flames, do not make it be a match, make it be an inferno. At least it is worth it. So in closing, I want to just tell you how excited I am to have been able to share a part of my story with you. And entrepreneurship is amazing. Entrepreneurship is for all the people that don't fit in anywhere else, and rightfully so. So if you're one of those, go conquer the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.